You hit it back and forth over the net on the table. If it hits the net, you're I don't know what just happened right there. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Floz. Welcome back to another episode of Tier Up, and this time we are ranking sports. Just sports. And yes, I know, I am probably the least qualified person to ever rank sports, but I'm doing it anyway. But enough chit chat, let's just get right into it. The rankings for this video are as follows. God tier. Goal! Good game. You're out of here. And cancel. And yes, I know about the goal tier. I was trying to think of something really fitting, and that immediately came to mind. First up, we have baseball. Baseball, I am going to say, that's probably one of my favorite sports, considering I played it. When I say played it, I mean I played t-ball in fucking kindergarten. And that's the only shit I've done with baseball ever since. Plus, one of my favorite games that I'm actually considering doing on the gaming channel at some point in the future is Mario Super Sluggers, baseball game themed around Mario. Plus, I've kind of been playing that nonstop lately. Plus, a good few years ago, every now and then I would just go out and hit the batting cages for literally no reason. I never played baseball, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it up in God tier. Cause I like baseball. Hit it with the bat like a caveman. Next up, we have basketball. I wasn't really into this one as much as I am other sports that involve football. But let's see. Basketball. How do I feel about it? Never gonna be tall enough to play it, so I'm kind of stuck down here in Munchkin Land. I will say the only impressive basketball feat that I've ever done and or gotten is a backward shot 1 or 2 times. That's the only good shit I've ever done with that goddamn ball. If I'm gonna be honest, overall, I just don't like basketball. I don't like playing it. I don't like watching it, because it makes me insecure about my height. So I think I know where I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing. Sorry, basketball. Sorry, what's that? I can't see what the brand of that basketball name is. But never mind that. Next up, we have bowling. I will say, I do like bowling much more than I do any of the other sports so far. Well, maybe not more. I don't know. I will say, it has been a couple years since I have done bowling, so my skills are going to be very, very rusty. Plus, I get to use the ball, throw it towards a bunch of pins, make them fall over, cause mayhem and destruction. Just my kind of thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put bowling in. I'm thinking either God tier or goal. You know, my appreciation for this is putting it closer to God tier. Actually, it's a God tier boy. But next up we have boxing. Boxing. This is a sport that I've never done, unless you want to count Wii Sports and or Wii Sports Resort. Other than that, never done a goddamn thing. But I will say my favorite boxer is KSI. Is that strictly because he's part of the Sidemen? Absolutely. Plus, I feel like compared to all these other sports, this one has far more blood. Because, I mean, you're literally punching people in the face. And it's far more realistic than WWE wrestling. Honestly, I'm going to say this is not one of my top favorites. You know, basketball makes me feel way too insecure about my height. Boxing doesn't do anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up in you're out of here. One step higher than basketball. Next up, we got darts! I don't know if you would technically classify this as a sport. I'm going to anyway. Because in a way, it's like tiny scale archery. And if I actually had a dartboard, there would be many more holes in the wall around it had I have one. But I do not have one, so I can't do that. Does it suck? Yes. Plus, the only kind of darts that I have played were the magnetic darts, and those sucked. These like actual like needle darts, much better. It's definitely gotta be up there for me, but because I haven't played it, I need to knock it down a little bit. It was going to be God tier for me, but due to my lack of experience, I'm gonna have to put it one step lower in goal! I'm gonna do that every time. Next up, we have another sport. What am I saying? They're all sports, but I'm just gonna classify it as this anyway. We have fencing. I don't know how you would classify this, whether it's a sport or not. My school had a fencing team, which I was not part of. And I will say the first time that I actually heard about fencing was from that goddamn iCarly episode where Spencer helped train Freddy to take down Toader. What kind of fucking name is Toader? Either way, you have long, skinny swords with the point of the sword having like a tiny little blocker on it. And I believe there's like a technical term for the sword. I don't know if it's like a rapier or something, but long, skinny sword with the point blocky, so you don't stab and impale your opponent. And I will say, I definitely do not have the fine motor skills needed to handle fencing. I would somehow aim for them and end up hitting the wall 30 meters away. I mean, it's cool to watch, but it's not something I think I'm ever gonna do, nor would I have any interest in doing. So that kind of knocks it down a good bit for me. I don't think it's not bad enough to be put in canceled with the basketball, but I also don't think it's good enough to be put in good games. So I'm gonna put it right in the middle because there's no other option. At you're out of here, you're out of here. But next up on this list we have football, American football. Very different. I will say in America, football, American football, is the only sport that I know where the outcome of a game can cause fans to murder each other. Cause fans to riot in the fucking streets. Whether they win or lost, there will be fucking riots. And I am more than certain that there are more football teams than there are states. I will say, in terms of American football, I'm not the biggest fan. I will say, even knowing about it since like either elementary or middle school, I forgot which one. Even after having all that time to learn shit about it, I still have no fucking clue how it's played. You get the ball, you run it toward the end goal, and try to avoid getting tackled by the other big burly men on the team. But I never really had any interest in watching it. I never had any interest in playing it. When I say play it in high school, I mean in like gym or phys ed or some shit like that. I never played on any kind of team in middle school or high school. I would keep getting like out or whatever because I kept misunderstanding the rules. And everyone was telling me, how could you not understand it? It's very simple. I'm dumb though. Plus, a lot of what I do is fucking singing on YouTube. I never said it's good, but that's more so what I do. Of course I'm not going to be good at sports. So a majority of the Americans don't fucking crucify me. I won't put it in any of the bottom two tiers. I'll put it in the middle. Take it or leave it. Next up, we have probably one of the most boring sports known to man. We have golf. A game where you hit tiny white balls. Something I'm very familiar with. And like the only major athlete in golf that I know is Tiger Woods. Ask me to name any other golfer. I have nothing else in this bank. Golf, way too big, way too long, way too far of a stretch. You're never going to see me play it. Mini golf, however, that is far more fun to me. Any chance I get to play mini golf? I would be playing mini golf. But mini golf is not on this list. Regular golf is. But since regular golf inspired mini golf, that I think is the only ticket that keeps it out of canceled. So we're going to go ahead and put it up in you're out of here. You're out of here. The next sport we have on this list is one that can be played on ice or on rollerblades or whatever. We have hockey. I'm not Canadian, so I don't give a fuck about this. And actually, I take back what I said earlier. Boxing is not the only one where you see tons of bloodshed. There could be tons of bloodshed in this. The ice will look like some girl had a horribly nasty period. Wait, what? Do you ever say something and it takes you like 3 or 4 seconds to register what it is you just said? I think I have that with every other sentence I say. But hockey, looking at all the games I've ranked plus the ones I have left, I think this is the only game aside from boxing that doesn't, well, and fencing and actually darts that doesn't involve a ball. This does also involve a projectile. It's just a puck. I don't give a puck about it though. I could live my entire life without ever knowing or playing hockey. The only hockey that I've ever played is air hockey on the table. That's far more fun to me. But yeah, this one can go bye-bye. It's still not going to be as bad as basketball. You're out of here. But next up on this list, we have ping pong or table tennis. I prefer ping pong. It's far more fun to say. Ping pong, 2 players. Each one gets a paddle. They hit this tiny white plastic ball. Again, hitting tiny white balls. I'm not going to get further into that. You hit it back and forth over the net on the table. If it hits the net, you're I don't know what just happened right there. I will say, I have played ping pong and or table tennis in real life a few times. It was fun. I'm thinking about doing it in good game or the tier above it. I don't want to say it too many times because this video is already going longer than I want it to. You know, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the one above. I'm going to go ahead and put it up here in goal! Next up, we have another game that could go by either one of 2 names. There's billiards, or as I prefer, pool. Because, I mean, shoot and pool, that's the name that everybody knows. There are 15 balls. Yeah, 15 balls. 4 striped. No. 8 striped. No, what are the numbers? 1 through 15. That's the 8 ball. 14. 7. There are 7 striped balls and 7 solid balls. There! And none of them are solid white tiny balls. So I don't gotta worry about that. Point is, you have to sink all of your balls in the pockets, either the striped or the solids, and then once you sink all your balls, you have to sink the black 8 ball, and that means you win! I was bad with figuring out trajectories and shit like that, so I never really won. Plus, this was also, I am actually going to say about a decade ago, but being a game that I played and I actually enjoyed playing, I think I'm actually, I don't think it's good enough for God tier. I am going to put it one step below in God tier in goal! Every single time. But next up we have true football, or as most Americans would pronounce it, soccer. I will say for the longest time I called it soccer. And I actually did play in 1st grade on a team of soccer. And on this team, yes, because we were in 1st and or 2nd grade, we all got participation trophies, but they were given with like certain titles given with them. And mine was actually given because I was the fastest. I don't know how, but I was the fastest. And there were members on that team that were far more athletic than me. Even a good number of the girls were far more athletic than me. And I was still somehow the fastest because I needed to prove myself. I am a fast motherfucker. But again, the reason I start calling it football now for like the good past few years is again because I watched the Sidemen. I've kind of taken in and started using a good amount of like English terminology. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put football up in, and you know what, screw it. We're going to go ahead and put the boy up in God tier. God tier boy. Next up we have tennis. Tennis, this was never really a game I liked. I prefer the table version or ping pong, but actual big tennis, I do not have the athleticism for it. Plus, the only two names in tennis that I know of are Venus and Serena Williams. Any other tennis star? Can never name. Any other golf person other than Tiger Woods? Can't name. Any other hockey person other than Wayne Gretzky? Can't name. Any boxer aside from KSI? Well, Mike Tyson. And I'm not going to count either of the Paul brothers. I was going to say, do the Tate brothers count? But no, they were more so martial arts. Not a big fan of, never really played, don't really like watching. So I think I'm again going to put it down in, you're out of here. You're not bad enough to be put down and canceled. That spot is strictly saved for basketball. And finally on this list we have volleyball. Hey, volleyball, that's a fun one. That's a fun one that I always enjoyed doing in gym. I was never ever going to be on a volleyball team. And this one involves hitting a giant white ball, something I definitely have experience in. So many unintentional gay innuendos. I mean, I like having it done to me. That doesn't sound any better. But volleyball? Ladies volleyball team? On the goddamn beach? Goddamn sight to see. I need to make up for all those gay innuendos earlier. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not me. Oh my god, wait, you do shoot I just looked at the picture. You do shoot a white ball in pool. How did I not notice? I completely forgot about the cue ball. But we're not talking about that. We are talking about volleyball. The ladies volleyball team on a goddamn beach, just that sight alone earns it the final place in goal! And I think this right here is where we're going to end it off. I've been Floz MG. This has been Tier Up, ranking various sports, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.